Hi, it's Mitch from PickDogs.com. I got Steve Monahan and the Puck Dogs with me. You know, yesterday afternoon I said we were going to do a Super Bowl prop show, but what we decided to do is just do tomorrow all Super Bowl. So it's like we're not going to go over any hockey. We're not going to go over any of the NBA games or the college hoops. Nothing. It's going to be all Super Bowl tomorrow for the full hour, and of course I'll be doing halftime of the Super Bowl. It's me, Shakira, and J-Lo. We're doing it together. And just like, you know, we did it with Adam Levine with the shirt and Adam Levine without the shirt because he got all sweaty in the 6 minutes that he was out there last year. So anyways, I'm going to do it with the shirt. But anyways.
I'm going without.
The Mr. October.
Oh yeah, I got a year's supply of baby oil lined up right here. You just can't see it in the corner of the room.
Just caught a bad visual. All right, but we got a lot of action today. We got 104 college basketball games. I did about 104 videos. Now, actually, I did almost 40 videos today. They're out on YouTube. Of course, we did the Spread Knowledge show as well. So we got a lot of games. Plus, we got tons of NHL, right, Puck Dogs?
14
NHL, so we'll probably be going super quick hitter style today. Let's start rolling through these NHL games. No reason to wait. Let's just get started. We'll start in the NHL today. Blue Jackets and Sabres. Chris, what do you like?
Yeah, I mean, Columbus hasn't played since the All-Star break, so there's a little bit of a worry about rust, but I'm still taking the Blue Jackets. Minus 110. Sabres don't provide any value right now, even at home, so I'll take Columbus.
Okay, Rod?
Yeah, I'll take Columbus too. Columbus is 6-0 straight up, their last 6. They've just been rolling. Give me Columbus here.
Well, Steve went to the Rangers game last night, so here's his. It'll be the Islanders in this one, up against Vancouver. One thing, the beauty of going to a Rangers game, you can still root against the Islanders, even if they're playing the Red Wings, because that is the Rangers, right? I'm sure they're still doing the beat your wife Potvin chant.
I was just going to say at least 5, whistle, 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 Potvin sucks.
Gotta love the Potvin sucks. I've partaken in many of those, and I think he was retired when I was there. So you know, he's been gone a long time for the Potvin sucks. But anyways, Chris, Potvin's sucking enough for you here. Got minus 144 on the Islanders in this one.
Yeah, the Islanders have been good at home all year, but I'm still going to go with Vancouver at plus money here. I like just the way that Vancouver's been playing lately. It's a young team. They're finding their legs. I mean, they're just on fire right now in New York. You know, they've been good all season, but I just like New York. Or I like the value with Vancouver here, plus 125.
What's the puck line on Vancouver? Because they're outstanding on the puck line on the road.
Well, that's minus 200. Hold on, let me get that.
Yeah, that's about what it's probably going to be. But I think there still might be some value in some parlays there. I don't normally recommend.
If you go Vancouver minus 1.5, it's plus 365.
No, the other way.
Oh, okay, yeah, then it's minus 200.
Yeah, it still might be a little bit of value in parlays there with that one. Yeah. Rod, what are you thinking in this one?
I'm thinking Vancouver's going to win here. Give me Vancouver 6-1 straight up their last 7 games. They've just been rolling. And I'm going to take Vancouver on the money line, and I'm going to give a shot at that Vancouver to win by 2. Minus 1.5 at plus 365.
Last of the day games, Hockey Day in Canada, Montreal versus the Florida Panthers. And boy, we went over the Panthers' record a few days ago over the last few years. I didn't realize they've been such a viable product out there in Florida, a place where, let's face it, ice hockey doesn't make a lot of sense. Panthers minus 105 here on the road at Montreal. Boy, 23-22, 6-1. Canadians, are they just not that good, or are they a team that, you know, they get into the playoffs and you really don't want to see them on the other side of the ice?
I mean, for me, I don't understand this line personally. I mean, it's trying to pull me on to Montreal, but Florida won 6 straight heading into the All-Star break. Maybe there's, again, concern of rust because they haven't played since the All-Star break, but, you know, they're playing better hockey right now. So give me Florida minus 105.
How about you, Rod?
Yeah, I'm on the same thing. Florida. Give me Florida here. They're 6-0 straight up. Montreal is 5-2. Their last 7, so they have been playing better hockey. But give me Florida. They're just a way better offensive team.
What kind of do the whip around look like we did last week in college basketball? Throw out a few big games. If you like any of these, just throw them out. But if not, anything in the time slot works. Steve, Xavier Seton Hall starts in just about 50 minutes. Got Seton Hall minus 8.5 in that one. The line dropping a half a point, inverse line movement. We got Villanova minus 6.5 against Creighton. We have the Indiana Hoosiers plus 7.5 at Ohio State. LSU minus 11 versus the Ole Miss Rebels. And let's see, at 1 o'clock we have Texas A&M Georgia, and a little game between Michigan State and Wisconsin, as well as UConn Memphis. So a lot of early action. I mean, we got 104 games today, so there's going to be a lot of action in each time slot. Steve, any of those games get you, or do you got to go all the way to the Kansas City-Chicago State game to put a little something on the Kangaroos? Just for good measure.
Creighton, Villanova. I love Villanova. Villanova, I think, is laying 6.5 here. I don't bet against Villanova, especially they're starting to crank it up. Now, Seton Hall is in New Jersey, and Seton Hall has played real well. They've had some big wins. Xavier, it's a good team. But I think Seton Hall is on a run right now until they, trip up. I think 8.5 is doable. I think they can win by 10, so I like Seton Hall.
I got Seton Hall in my Final Four, and Xavier is horrible on the road.
Yeah.
Seton Hall is my dark horse Final Four, the one that I'll have them in my Final Four, and then when they get to the Final Four, everyone's going to be like, oh, man, Seton Hall, right? But they've been good all season. Even the games that they haven't won, they've been really good. That Michigan State game earlier this season, really good. The only game that they played really poorly was the Rutgers game, but they were missing their best players. So, it's like the Bud Bombers playing without me. It was like the probability of winning just.
That quarterback was pretty good on the Bud Bombers, if I remember correctly.
That was our intramural college team. 1 loss in 2 seasons.
And I wasn't at the game. I don't know. You do the.
Our baseball team beat the baseball team. Our softball team beat the baseball team. It's like, anyways, Rod, any of these games, 1 o'clockers, 12 o'clockers?
I'm on the Villanova game. Give me Villanova here. They're on a 7-game winning streak, 5-2 ATS the last 7, and they've just been rolling. And this great team is garbage. I wouldn't say garbage, but
anything else in this time slot?
No, that's all I got in this.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I got a few. I'm on Seton Hall minus the 8 against Xavier. Seton Hall is just really good at home, and Xavier's not a team I'm trying to back against the number right now.
Terrible on that.
I like Creighton plus 6.5 against Villanova. I think Villanova wins the game, but I think that Creighton can shoot their way and keep in it until the very end. I think it's a 6-point game at most. So to get that extra half point, I take Creighton here. I like Indiana plus 7.5 against Ohio State. Ohio State's just not playing great. I know it's home dominance in the Big Ten, but Indiana can keep in it as well. I like LSU minus 10.5 against Ole Miss. I like Texas A&M plus 6.5 against Georgia. Texas A&M just been really good against the number on the road. And I like Wisconsin plus the 5 against Michigan State. I think that Wisconsin can make it a low-scoring game at home and drag Michigan State down to their level and keep it tight at home.
For those of you watching, please hit the thumbs up. Greatly appreciated. We got about 100 people watching and 19 thumbs up. That's 1/5. So I did a little research on our YouTube channel last night also. I was just really, after doing 40 videos, I was just trying to sit here and just stare at the computer screen for a couple minutes. And what I found out was now even less people, even less of a percentage of our viewers subscribe to our channel. So if you could hit the subscribe button, you don't have to sign up for notifications if you don't want to. I know I do a ton of videos, so the notifications can get a little annoying, but you'll get notified of these live shows, and that's always a nice thing because I'll be doing more and more halftimes after, including the Super Bowl. But as we head in and getting closer to March, I'll be doing more inter-day games on the weekends, and of course during March Madness, it's not just it's not just the NCAA tournament. There's all those conference tournaments and everything like that. I'll be doing a lot more live shows as well. But really, less than 50% of the people that watch our shows subscribe to our channel. So subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up. It costs you nothing. It makes it worth it for us to do this. I love doing it, so I probably would do it anyway. But we could always make it private and just say, our premium members only can watch it and stuff like that, as people have suggested. And I always say, no, it's for everybody. It's free, and I just give out whatever. But it's like, all I ask is that you hit the thumbs up, and I'm tell you what, I'm not too proud to sit. I ain't too proud to beg.
Temptations and the Rolling Stones version. Come on.
Well, there's also the Temptations version, the good one.
That's what I said. The Temps and then the Rolling Stones.
There's the Temptations. Yeah, if you have pics of your own, the place to put that is in the Facebook group. But anyways, Chris, so you did you finish with your whole slate of games that you had there?
Yep.
All right, I like Indiana in that slot. I have some premium picks in that area as well. So I'm not going to go over those games, but the game that's not a premium pick that I would consider as, that was considered as in the mix of my premium picks, was on the initial list, was Indiana plus the 7.5. Ohio State's stinking up the joint. I mean, it's hard to believe that this was the number 1 ranked team in the country at one point. My strongest play, we get this question all the time, what's your strongest play? My strongest play are the ones that I put in the premium area. I don't know how much clearer I can make that. I try not to make this an infomercial for my premium picks, and I try not to do that in my regular YouTube videos, but the answer is that. They're the ones I put in the premium area. And we're going to soon, probably within the next week or two, all these guys will have premium picks, and they'll be the same answer. Then they can join me. We can all say it at once. 1, 2, 3, go. And we'll have it, and we'll still give out tons of free picks. We're still going to have free picks on every game, every day at Peg Dogs. I'm still going to do just as many, if not more, YouTube videos. But we're just going to have an expanded premium area with multi-capper premiums. So. But anyways, keep rolling right along. Like I said, of those early games, I like Indiana. I just think that, like I said, Ohio State just stinking up the joint. I can't lay 7.5 points with Ohio State, at least not in this. And the other one I like is LSU against Ole Miss. LSU's rolling. I've been on Alabama a lot this season, and ever since I trashed them right the first week, and then they kind of must have watched my video or something, or just locker room that bulletin boarded it or something, because after that they went on this amazing roll of covering the spread. But last week I even took LSU against Alabama. That's how hot LSU is. Skylar Mays, I was expecting to see this out of the gate this season, but we didn't see it. But now we're seeing it. This LSU team means business. Quietly, very, very quietly, ranked 24th in the nation. Okay, you want to talk about value? Ranked 24th in the nation. They're 18-4. I mean, they got a better record than Michigan State.
It's true.
Anyways, move on to the... speaking of Michigan State, I like them minus the 5 against Wisconsin. I know they don't have quite the record that LSU has. They got 5 losses on the season, but played a little tougher schedule. I mean, they lost out here in Maui to Virginia Tech. They didn't quite get to the Kansas game, but, they played everybody else. When you open with Kentucky, it's kind of... it's tough. It's like I always call these type of schedules the Grateful Dead type schedules. It's like open. It was like Kentucky opener, into Maui tournament, back into the Big Ten conference, Wisconsin, drum space, Wisconsin again. It's and that's kind of what Michigan State has got going this year. I mean, they have run the gauntlet. They have played everybody, and I always think that these are the type of.
I know you're right.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. They didn't avoid the directional Michigan schools either. Which is it's always it's always looks like a trap. You know, you play Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan in back-to-back games, you don't even know where the hell you are anymore, you know? But they beat them both like a drum. They laid 23.5 against Eastern, beat them by 53. Then they laid 25 the following game against Western, beat them 95-62. I mean, they're all over the place. I like the way Michigan State is playing, and I could see why they were ranked number 1 coming into the season this year. They're 14th right now. So once again, that's a value. You know, seeing them at 14, we're not gonna get this kind of value on the Spartans. We didn't get it at the beginning of the season. They were favored in that game against Kentucky. Anyways, let's keep going. We got DePaul Marquette. We got Tennessee, Mississippi State, Butler, Providence. Ed Cooley show. Who doesn't love that? We got West Virginia up against Kansas State. Ed Cooley has already started coaching for that game against Butler. He's out on the court. He's already coaching. This guy, I mean, he's coaching like on the bus to the game. He's coaching. You know, he wakes up. He's drinking coffee. He's coaching. One of my favorite coaches in college basketball. Got Louisville, NC State. We got Texas, Iowa State. I've been calling for Shaka Smart's job for about a month now, and I continue to do so. And I think the loss today to Iowa State isn't going to help at home. We got Bedlam, Oklahoma State, South Carolina, Mizzou, Baylor, TCU. We'll stop there. Steve, any of these between 2 and 4 p.m. games get you?
I'm all in on Baylor. I've been saying that all year. They were laying 11.5 last I saw. I got no problem taking Baylor. I like that. I like Butler. Butler has lost a couple games the last couple weeks, and I think they'll right the ship against Providence, and they're laying 7 points there. I got no problem there. Louisville is one of my favorites for today. It's only a 3-point spread against the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. So I'm all in on Louisville. Those are my 3 good ones. That slot.
I like Mississippi State over Tennessee here.
That one's in Stark Vegas? Yeah, it is.
Where?
Yeah, in Stark Vegas.
Yeah. Mississippi State's just been rolling. They're 6-0 ATS the last 6.
I used to do a radio show for college basketball in the SEC out of Baton Rouge. I used to be the call-in guest on there, and that's how I learned about Stark Vegas. And I've talked to people in the area, many people, and they all say, yeah, that's exactly what we call it. Starkville, Mississippi. They call it Stark Vegas.
Providence and Butler. I'm going to go the other way. Give me Providence +7. I think Butler wins, but I don't think they cover that number.
Ed Cooley, he's coaching. He's coaching, man. He's working the sideline. He's working the refs. He's on his knees. He's coaching.
Yeah, I think Butler wins.
Ed Cooley is one of my favorite characters in all of college sports. Love him.
Those are the two I got for this time frame.
You don't think West Virginia, with the rematch against Kansas State, who beat them by like 30 in Manhattan, you don't think Bob Huggins has had this circled since they walked out of the locker room that day? What do you think? What do you think Bob Huggins, right? Who always seems like he's kind of like how Bill Parcells was on the sideline. What do you think he's like when they shut the door? I mean, it kind of like, because Bill Parcells is always kind of like that, and Belichick is kind of like, yeah, whatever. And then it's like, I know when they shut the door, it's a different story. And I'm going to guess Huggins was like that in this one, because that Kansas State-West Virginia game at Kansas State, you look at West Virginia's 16-4, and you look at the game at St. John's, I've said it 100 times, they won that game. You know, the refs wanted St. John's to have it. It was St. John's was winning home games. Okay, they lost at Kansas. They were getting 10. They lost by 7 in that one. But then they lost last time out against Texas Tech. No shame in that, because Texas Tech, I mean, they were in the finals last year, right? I mean, Texas Tech gets up for the big games, not as up for the other games. But then you look at this. 68-84 at Kansas State. Kansas State, terrible. I mean, freaking terrible this season. I mean, usually Kansas State has a good team, and they got like usually the 2 guards that can hit and like a big guy on the inside, but they don't even have that this year. I mean, they beat Oklahoma last week. They played at Alabama in the Big Ten, and then they lost by 20. After they beat West Virginia, they followed that up with losing at Kansas by 21 against their heated rival. I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of that one. I have a feeling that I don't think any dogs are going to be called off in that game. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm all over West Virginia, laying the 13, and I also like I like Marquette laying the 7 points against DePaul.
I like that too. DePaul's kind of faded. They fought the good fight this season. I think that they made a big step forward, but I think they are regressing.
They are. I agree.
I think DePaul and I find, well, in years past, Rutgers were like 2 teams that usually start strong, and then as conference play starts to go on, they start to dwindle, and then, I mean, it hasn't been the case with Rutgers this year, but it's starting to become the case with DePaul, and I think Marquette takes advantage of that, so I'll lay the 7 with Marquette.
Anyone else like Iowa State here against Texas, going on the road to Austin here, getting 3 points? I like them a lot. I know they're just 9-11 on the season, but Texas 4-6 in their last 10. 4-6 against the number. Iowa State, at least they're 5-5 against the number in their last 10. I think they played a much tougher schedule recently. Hey, they haven't won a road game all season. What better place? If your O has got to go, Shaka seems to be the man to deliver the wins to the other team. I like Iowa State here. I also like Boston University minus the point at Bucknell. I think the wheels are off the cart for the Bison. You know, this is a team that we rode a few years ago. You know, it's like kind of like our Vermont was last year. Quinnipiac is for us this year. What a great game by Quinnipiac last night, right? Getting 6.5. They didn't care what the spread was, man. They just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. Would they win by 130 or something? Plus the 6.5 they were getting, right? On the top
17 they won by?
They won by like 30, right?
I think it was like, yeah, I think it was 17. I think they won 90-73.
Yeah, we were getting 6.5 on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just blew them out the second half. Total blowout.
Like, Rod, did you give your picks at this time slot?
Yep.
You did? All right, so we'll go back to the ice. St. Louis and Winnipeg. We'll do 3 or 4 at a time. We'll do St. Louis, Winnipeg, Toronto, Ottawa. Senators got a total in that one of 7 goals. So someone doesn't think there's going to be any goaltending in that one. We got the rematch of the home and home Rangers Red Wings. Steve, you going to go to the second half of that one? Steve was at the first half.
I'm going to Detroit for this one.
Go ahead. And then we got the Devils up against the Stars. So Steve could actually do a Rangers-Devils double.
Oh, absolutely. That's no question.
Or, you know what? You could actually do an Islanders day game, Devils night game.
Hell yeah.
There's no
problem.
A lot you could do with this. Chris, what do you think of these games?
So these one, I took St. Louis in regulation. They're 7-1 in their last 8 on no rest. Winnipeg's just not playing well right now, so I think St. Louis bounces back here. I like Toronto on the puck line against Ottawa. It's high total for a reason. These games are usually high scoring, but Ottawa's not playing well right now, so I'll take Toronto on the puck line. And I take the Rangers on the puck line as well against Detroit. You know, Detroit's just back to losing games left and right, and the Rangers are starting to pick it up a little bit. And I like Dallas in regulation at minus 110 against New Jersey. New Jersey is what they've been all season, and Dallas is looking to maintain their their playoff position. So I'll take the better team with Dallas in regulation minus 110.
Rod?
For me, this Blues game, give me the Blues on the puck line. They're 5-0 in the last 5 games in Winnipeg. And the Jets are 1-4 on 0 days rest. I think the Jets are in trouble here. Give me the Blues with Binnington in net tonight. Give me Dallas on the puck line. I think they go into New Jersey and beat them pretty good. I see like a 3-1 game there. Give me the Rangers on the puck line. I think they beat Detroit. And in the Leafs game, I'm going to go the other way. Hutchinson's been confirmed to be starting in goal for the Leafs. And everybody has dogs all over the Leafs. Give me Ottawa on the money line. I think Ottawa's got a chance.
How about that 7? What do you think of that 7 in the total?
And I love the over 7. Give me the over.
Wow.
Hutchinson, and I'm going to take the over. Give me the over here.
Wow.
I like that. Over 7 in Ottawa. Give me Ottawa here today.
Yeah, these Battle of Ontario games, it's not uncommon to see 8 or 9 goals on a regular basis whenever they play each other.
Yeah. I think it's the first 7 we've seen all year so far.
It is. That's why I've said it. I even noticed that. So we got NBA action. We got 10 games, so that's 20 teams in action. Got the Timberwolves and Clips. We got the Pacers and the Knicks. Victor Oladipo's second game back. He played about 20 minutes last time. He got 9 points in that 20 minutes. I'm going to guess that we're going to see increasing Oladipo action. One of the players that I think is pretty unheralded in the NBA. I mean, super athletic, super athletic. He was a highlight film in college. Orlando against the Heat. This one up to 2.5 from 1.5. Dumpster fire in Cleveland. I wonder what the get-in price on this one is. It used to be when the Warriors were in town, tickets were like $1,000 a piece. I bet you wonder what the get-in price in Cleveland is today. A rematch of the NBA Finals of 2 years ago. They got 23 wins between them, so they're combined 23 and 75. The Cavs and the Warriors going at it. And then Brooklyn against the Wiz, another game that, man, I can't understand why people would pay money to see that. But any of those 5 games, Steve, anything stick out to you?
And the Pacers against the Knicks. The Knicks are just terrible. So I love the Pacers. Knicks getting into a fight, getting smoked the other night. They're just so dysfunctional. There is sell the team chance now for Dolan. It's really ugly, and I would say take anybody against the Knicks for the next several weeks. The Heat, I'll take the Heat against the Magic. I think the Heat are good. The Wizards, I'm starting to listen to you, man. You've been riding the Wizards lately. So I'll take the Wizards against the Nets.
Rod, anything on those first 5 that get you?
Yeah, I like the Heat minus 2.5. Give me the Wizards minus the 1.
Are we just going to ignore the stench coming out of Minnesota? I mean, are we just going to ignore this? This is the second time they've gone on a run like this season. I mean, this is like the Arizona Diamondbacks all over again, where it's like, it's like Arizona, at least they go on the winning streak on the other side of it. Minnesota, this is the second time they've gone on an 0-10 run this season. They had like 4 games in between that they won, or 4 games that they kind of had some wins and losses mixed in, and now they're back on another 10-game heater in the wrong direction. I mean, I know they're 9-14 on the road, so they're a better road team than they are at home. But I mean, let's just ignore the stench coming out of Minneapolis these days. I mean, come on. I mean, they're 1-9 against the number. They're not. That means you're not even close. Not only are you not winning, you're not even close. And that game against the Kings, I mean, I counted it as a loss on my record. I find out the Kings came back, and what was the comeback in that one? Like 30-something points. I'd already had it marked as a loss. I didn't know until 2 days later. Somebody told me. I looked at my account and I was like, that's where that came from. It was like, I thought a game got canceled or something. It was like, I mean, this team, they stink. This is Vandy stinkage going on here.
Oh, yeah, I like the Clippers today. Clippers will roll them.
Chris, a little something in Minnesota for you here?
No, thank you. No, the only game I'm kind of keyed in on here, I like the over 206 in the Miami-Orlando game. I just think that total's really low. I mean, Miami's last 5 games are averaging around 220 points a game. Orlando's last 5 are averaging close to 230. I think both teams easily hit 100 here, maybe by midway through the 4th. So I'll take the over 206 Miami-Orlando.
Warriors are 3-22 on the road this season. I think they got a shot at number 4 in this one. I think they got a shot. But let's go back to the college hoops. We still got a lot of ground to cover here. We got there's kind of a lull there at 4, but then we got Kansas, Texas Tech, Gonzaga, San Francisco, Florida State, Virginia Tech. We've got Michigan, Rutgers. That one's at Madison Square Garden. Then we have not a lot here. Oregon, Stanford at 6, Cincinnati, Houston at 6, Wichita, Tulsa, Alabama, Arkansas, where the line is finally out for that game. It was not up earlier, but now it's out. It's 3.5 for the Tide. And a couple teams you might have heard of, Auburn and Kentucky, going at it. So in this time slot, 2 of the games that I mentioned are interesting matchups, and that is you have the 2 blue bloods from 2 of the conferences, 2 of the college basketball blue bloods, the 2 teams, like at the beginning of the season, you say who's going to be in the Final Four. Pretty much if you say Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, and Michigan State, you're probably going to hit 1 or 2, right? I mean, if you start like that, or if you there's a few other teams we can mix in there, but I think you could basically do that. But we have Kansas playing against Texas Tech, who was actually the team that went to the Final Four last year from the Big 12 Conference. And then you have Auburn against Kentucky, and it was Auburn that went to the Final Four from the SEC last year. So 2 interesting games there. Steve, what do you like? We got this is as good as it gets for college basketball today. I mean, these type of games, Kansas, Texas Tech, Auburn, Kentucky is about as good as it gets for a conference play this year.
You bet. But I want to get back to Rutgers, Michigan. Rutgers, again, I'm a Jersey guy, and there's real good buzz going around Rutgers right now. The record is good. Again, I went to the Ranger game last night and actually was talking Rutgers basketball with a lot of guys. They're only a few wins away from really, going to the big dance for the first time.
They might be in already. They might already be in.
I think they're 16-5 or something right now, 15-5. I know last time they looked, but they're playing well. Michigan, we've talked about, is kind of the wheels are kind of falling off. I think they're a young team. Howard's first year. Game is at Madison Square Garden, and Michigan's favored by 1 point. I love Rutgers here. I think this is a big game for them in front of the New York crowd. So I love Rutgers here.
What happens if Rutgers goes to the tournament, right? And they actually make some noise there, like get to the Sweet 16. That could be a program changer, right, for Rutgers, because you have access to that New York City talent, which, like the Florida talent in college football, but you got the New York City talent in college basketball that Rutgers and even St. John's has trouble keeping a ton of it at home.
Sure.
Seton Hall gets some, but I mean, really, it's kind of like Chicago and New York. The Chicago teams like DePaul, they have trouble keeping the guys, and the same thing with these. But if Rutgers can sell the Big Ten, then you get to play in the Big Ten. You're going to play Michigan State. You're going to play Michigan. You're going to play, Indiana. You're going to get a crack at those guys and still get to play in front of your family.
Yeah.
That could be a game changer for this program, but they got to win here. I
think it's a huge game, so I like Rutgers with all the momentum. I mean, again, for me, I'm actually going to a Rutgers basketball game on February 15th against Illinois.
I like Illinois in that one. I like Illinois. I do. I don't care what the record is. Illinois is a beast this season.
I'm actually getting in the car and driving to a Rutgers basketball game. That's the kind of buzz that's going on.
Stop at DraftKings on the way. Put a couple bucks on Illinois for me while you're there.
I will. But back to the other games.
Do yourself a favor. It's like we have a friend named Brian Bergen, and he's always he always has the side suggestion that's kind of off the beaten path. It's like when you're driving, when you're test driving a car, it's like, what you really want to do is tilt the gas pedal to the floor, and then you can really see what the car is like. You really don't know until you really just press it all the way to the floor. It's like, Okay.
You want to get on a stretch of highway where you can really open it up.
He's like, what you really want to do is stop by at DraftKings, put a little something on Illinois for yourself. Go ahead. I just thought it was.
With that, but the Kentucky-Auburn games. I think it's probably the biggest matchup of one of the top 3-4 games, obviously. So Kentucky going to Auburn. I'm going to take Kentucky here. I'll take them plus 3 points here. I bet against Kentucky, a week ago, and I lost that one. But I think Kentucky on the road here. I'll take Kentucky. So I like those two games.
They've been a beast on the road. Just a beast. And, I mean, this is a program that's built to be, the bad guy wrestler. Like everywhere they go, everyone's rooting against them. So I think that I like Kentucky there too against Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn, I think I like them with the 3 points. I think if Auburn wins, I think it's gonna be one of those games.
Yeah. So I mean, those two stand out for me.
Chris.
Yeah, if I go back to the 4 o'clock slot, I like Kansas laying the 8.5 against Texas Tech. I just think Kansas is rolling right now. Texas Tech's good defensively, and like you said before, they were in the national championship last year, but I just think Kansas is a much better team here. A couple off the board. I like UNC Greensboro getting 2.5 against East Tennessee State. It's probably the game of the day out in the SoCon. I just like the way that the Spartans defense travels. They've been really good on the road this season. I also like UNLV plus 6.5 against Colorado State. I just think UNLV stepped up against San Diego State, and I don't know if Colorado State's that much better than the Rebels right now, so take the points with UNLV here. I like Rutgers as well, getting the point against Michigan State. I think that line's sort of a representation, just Michigan having a history of playing at MSG, and maybe it's unfamiliar territory for Rutgers, but Rutgers is just playing way better right now. I like Alabama with laying 3.5 against Arkansas, and I like Kentucky, the plus 3 against Auburn. Kentucky getting points. I learned my lesson a few games ago, and I paid off against Texas Tech, so I'll take Kentucky plus the 3.
Rod?
Yeah, I like Rutgers as well. Give me Rutgers plus the 2. I like Florida State over Virginia Tech. I think it's a -3.
A little different Florida State team this year than we've seen in the past. Generally, these Florida State teams, it's kind of like super athletes. They look like, they could be an NBA team, and then they go in and lose to Vandy or something. It's like we saw it this year earlier at Pitt where they lost. But outside of that Pitt game, they lost at Indiana, and I think losing at Indiana is okay. It's like, I don't think this is a great Hoosier team, but I think losing at Indiana, where they were undefeated at the time, is okay. It's excusable. And then I think their other loss was against someone really good too. So let me see who was Florida State's other. It was last game, whoever it was. It was Virginia, at Virginia. I got news for you. A lot of teams are going to lose at Virginia. And it's like, even if it's not a very good Virginia team, like this year, it's hardly the team they had last year, which, I mean, they won the national championship, so how many years do you get like that? But, it was kind of like I always said, when Jim Larinaga, when Miami, had the Larkin team, and they lost at Virginia, and he said, after the game, they said, well, Coach, what did you think of this one? He said, what can you say? He's like, a lot of people are going to lose here this year. He's like, it's just the way that it is, in the ACC. It's just not an easy place to play. It's been a little more forgiving this season than others, but it doesn't mean that it's, you go into Virginia and expect to get a win. But go ahead. Sorry, Rod. I just think this is a different Florida State team than we've seen in the past. They went into Florida. They stomped the Gators. I mean, we've seen them absolutely crush some teams on the road this year.
I like Kansas there. Give me Kansas. I think
Kansas there.
Yeah, minus.
They've let you down a few times on this show with these big spreads and big games. That's for sure.
They have, yeah. And that's why I think everybody's the other way. If you look, all the money's on the other side of that. I'm going to take the chance with Kansas. I think they cover the number for me today.
Well, they owe you one. They owe you at least one. I like Kansas. I love Kansas as a team to win games. I don't love them as a team to cover spreads. I love their veteran leadership. I like their inside game. I like all those things. But it's like, you can't lay that many points and expect to cover spreads, against good teams all the time. It's like, where did he get to 9 points against the team that, went to the finals last year? It's like, a team that beat West Virginia last game. A team that beat Louisville, who I think can give Kansas a good run themselves. I mean, in Kansas, they beat Baylor. I mean, Baylor beat them. I don't know. It's like at Kansas, right? So Duke beat them. Duke beat them. So I don't know. It just seems to me like a big number. I think this game's like a 4-point game one way, and I think it could be a coin flip. You could argue it. So be it. Anything else, Rod?
Give me Oregon over Stanford. Oregon -1.5.
Hate the way Stanford's playing right now. Hate it. You lose to Cal, and then you lose at home. It's like last time too. It's like, you lose to Cal. All right, you say to yourself, okay, it's a rivalry game, right? That's what you say. You say, all right, we lost at Cal. It was on the road. We lost by a bucket. Rivalry game. I know we were 8-point favorites, but we lost. Then you come home, and they lost to USC on the road, right? Which USC's good this year. They're way underrated. But Oregon State at home is a 6-point favorite. I mean, I like Trust Trinkle as much as the next guy, but you got to beat the Beavers at home. It's when you're a 4-loss team, you got to win that game. I'm way over Stanford right now. Meanwhile, the Ducks have won 4 in a row. I'm with you all the way there. 2-point spread seems a little sketchy, right? But
yep,
I'm with you. How about Cincinnati against Houston, man? Houston's tough customer, man. They got some big financial backing into that program, and they're not ashamed to admit it. They've been tough, man. Bearcats though have been really, really good at home. So I think that's one of the better fan games of the day.
Yeah, I think you got to go with Cincy at home.
I think so too. I also like Bama over Arkansas. Another one that I didn't give out as a premium pick because the line came out late. But I've been on the Tide plenty. As much as I call people out and call teams out when they're not playing well, when they are playing well, I'm the first one to admit that, hey, they turned it around and here they are. And I think Alabama's been that team for me this season. 8-1 at home, 7-2 against the number, 8-2 against the number in their last 10 games. This is a team that nobody wants to play right now.
True.
And the last one of that time slot, give me Hofstra +2.5. I think they come out and give William and Mary a fight.
Chris, did we cover these games with you, or is it you're up?
Yep, we're good.
All right. I get lost. We get covering so much here. I might throw a little something on Princeton also here against Harvard, Kind of like the way Princeton's been playing in the conference. 7-2 in their last 9. Home against Harvard, who lost last night to Penn. Let's go back to NBA, and then we'll finish out the NHL. So we've got Celtics Sixers. The Sixers have dominated this series this year, but they've been terrible on the road. Got the Hawks and the Mavericks. The Hawks beat the Sixers last time. I gave it out in the video. We got the Spurs against the Hornets, and I've been talking about in the YouTube videos a lot. If anyone watches those, if you I've been talking about in the YouTube videos how we're starting to see in the NBA the separation of the really good teams and the really bad teams. Like the cream is rising to the top and making that surge, after the halfway mark of the season. And the lesser teams are starting to fall by the wayside. And then you kind of have those middle guys that are kind of like we're not sure where they're going to be. But you can see a clear separation, and you can see it right here with teams like the Hornets now 1-9 in their last 10 games. They've been on the wrong end of the beating. We got the Lakers after last night, Damian Lillard's experience. See how they bounce back from that. And, I think there was two ways that it could have gone for the Lakers last night. You know, it was like the emotion could have gone one way and it could have gone the other. I don't think it was their best night. And we got the Blazers, and they've been red hot with Lillard, plus 5.5 at home against the Jazz, who are not as hot as they were a week ago. Steve, any of these games? I know a lot of people care about the Celtics-Sixers, that's for sure.
Nah, I'm all in on the Blazers, man. I watched that last night when I got home. Damian Lillard, real good player. God, the range that this kid can shoot the ball is fantastic. But to his point, they're hot. They're home, 5.5. Jazz have been cooled off a little bit, so I love the Blazers at home. And to your point about the Hornets, I mean, I'll take the Spurs here against the Hornets. I'm not touching Celtics.
Hey, Anthony Vespe is really good at picking games after they're over. He likes the Blazers plus 13 against the Lakers. Chris, you like that one?
Yeah, I love that one.
Me too. I like the Blazers plus 13 against the Lakers last night. Good pick, man.
I might lay the points. I don't know.
Man, it's like I kind of liked the Lakers yesterday, but I thought about it overnight because they played the game, and it was a no-brainer. It was no-brainer. Stone cold lock.
I think
all the chips.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
I think Lillard really
take the over. Take the over, too.
Let me see if I have any cash laying around my desk. Here we go. Let's throw a couple of these Blazers.
And the over. Take the over, too.
It's like, who in the hell has 400 sitting on their desk? I don't even know where the hell that came from. My wife must have cleaned my desk off or something. She probably found it in one of the compartments or something. No one uses cash anymore, right? The only time you ever use cash is Vegas. It's like, who in the hell uses cash? It's like, I think I had $3 on me for 6 months. But, Rod, any of these games?
Yeah, I like Portland as well. Give me the Portland plus 6. I'm gonna take Boston minus the 3. 76ers on the road just suck. I think Boston at home here. And the Spurs, give me the Spurs minus the 9.
Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Who else is up? Chris, did you go?
Yeah, I like the only game I'm liking for the evening slate. I like Boston laying the 2.5. I know Philly's dominated the season series so far this season, but Philly's also 5-14 against the number in their last 19 on the road. So, yeah, Philly on the road, no thanks. I'll take Boston here.
I like the Lakers to bounce back against the Kings on the back-to-back. All right, we'll go to the NHL. Skated on home. Oh, man, we got a lot of ground here. So we're going to have to cover a bunch of games quickly because we're running out of time. We'll do the express version. We got the Avs Flyers, Blackhawks Coyotes. We got Vegas against Nashville where the total is dropped by 0.5 point. We got Calgary up against Edmonton. That's got to be hockey late night in Canada. Then we got the Boston Bruins featuring Chris Ruffalo up against the Minnesota Wild. And Kings Ducks. It's good. I guess both these teams could sleep at home tonight. And then we got the Lightning about as far away from home as they can get, right? At San Jose. Rod, you want to kick us off here with this 17 parlay?
With the 17 of 11?
Why stop
kick
there?
It off with the Avs at the Flyers. Give me the Avs here on the puck line. The Flyers.
So what we have here is an idiot, Josh Horton. If you have a pick, the place to put that is in your Facebook group. He's got a guaranteed winner. So what he's telling me is I should bet my house on it. But if I lose, right, is he gonna buy me another one? That's all I gotta say. If you're so sure, Put it in the Facebook group, and if you're really sure and you're really going to bet that kind of money on it, show us your ticket in the Facebook group before the game starts. Show us what you're putting on it. Anyways, sorry, Rod. Go ahead. I just can't stand this thank me later crap. Thank me later. Amateur hour. Thank me later. I told you Portland was going to beat the Lakers. Where did you tell me? Where exactly did you tell me? I said it in my other group to my friends in a text. How is that telling me?
I sent it in the group chat.
People get mad at me for this shit. Anyways, go ahead. And Rod, sorry. I got too much material to work with. Everyone knows that's dangerous.
It's very dangerous. Yes, it is.
It's like me, I'm picking up those hundreds off my dad. It's like,
no, I can't wait.
I don't know what I'm going to spend it on, but I'm spending it on something.
For me, here's one of the best bets of the day: Avs at the Flyers. The Flyers are starting confirmed Alex Leon in net. And his one game, he's 0-1 and giving up 4 goals, and he just did not look good in net for the Flyers at all. So give me the Avs on the puck line here. Chicago at Coyotes. The Chicago team's been rolling. They have 5-1 in their last 6. This Coyotes team has not been rolling. They're 1-7 in their last 8. Give me the Blackhawks here. Vegas and Nashville. Flip a coin. Might have.
Yeah, if you don't have a pick, just gloss over it. We're running out of time.
I like the over in that one. Boston at Minnesota. Give me Boston in regulation. Are we going to just whip through them all quick?
Yeah, if you want to. If you have a pick, if you have something you like, give it out. If not, just leave it. We got free picks on every game at Pick Dogs. So,
I'm going to take a chance with the Sharks here. I really like the Sharks here over Tampa Bay here. Sharks have been 4-1 at home. Give me Sharks on the money line. The Battle of Alberta, I don't think that's going to change. Flames have whooped them all year. They've won 3 games. Give me the Flames here at home. Kings and the Ducks. Give me the Ducks at the plus money. That's all my NHL.
Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, I like the over 6 in the Colorado Philly game. That line, just the movement scares me. I know it's because line's in net, but yeah, I'm going over 6 there. I'm also on Chicago at plus 130. I just like the way Arizona's been playing. I'm on Vegas plus 114 against Nashville. Vegas finally showed some life yesterday, and I think they can head into Nashville, pick up a win. I like Boston minus 135 against Minnesota. I like Calgary in regulation. Minus 110 against Edmonton. I like the Kings minus 123 at home against the Ducks. And I like Tampa in regulation minus 115 against San Jose.
Okay, I'm really sad because Josh Horton doesn't want to hang out with us anymore because he didn't like my comments. And this is what he said: I'm new here, but what is up with this guy Mitch calling people an idiot for giving out a sure 100% winner? I'm out of here, which I'm a little emotionally upset about. But
God, Mitch, you ruined everything.
It's I don't know, man. A sure 100% winner. Has anyone ever had a sure 100% winner? This guy told me to bet my house on it. So if I lost, you're going to buy me a new house? It's like, I wasn't kidding.
I'm 100%.
I wasn't kidding.
It happened yesterday.
It's amateur hour, man. It's like, if you say you have a lock or we call it, remember, like the lock, you know, back in the day, like no, you never hear anyone say lock in the comments anymore because they still remember the lock of death. It's like the most people that say lock, we called it the lock of death, and we all bet against it, and I think it was like 37-2. I'm pretty sure. It's like the more people that said lock on it, and I always tell this story when I'm in line at the sports book, you know, back before they had the app, and, you know, I was in line a lot more often than I am these days, but it's like if I'm betting on one team and the rest of the world's on the other, which is usually the case, the more often I hear people saying the other team's name, I bet more. And sometimes by the time I get to the window, I don't even have any money left in my pocket at all. I got to borrow $5 from someone to tip the waitress. I mean, I got nothing to work with, you know. But anyways, let's get to the end of the college hoops, and then we'll do a quick recap at the end. We are way over time. I'd like to keep these at an hour, but I've rambled. I know it. So just going through the final games of the night. See if we have any big highlights. Syracuse, Duke. We got Arizona, Washington State, Tulane, SMU, Vandy, Florida, Northwestern, Purdue, BYU, St. Mary's, which actually could be a pretty meaningful game. San Diego State against Utah State with the line dropping by 0.5 point in this one. Colorado, USC, another big one in the Pac-12. And that's it. Steve, I know you like San Diego State.
Yeah, I'm leading with them, man, no doubt. They're 22-0 and haven't disappointed me for the most part all year. I'm going to keep riding them, and I love USC at home. Colorado is coming into town. It's only 1 point, as last I saw. So those two games stand out to me, and those are the two I'm looking at.
Aaron D. They lose. That's why they're angry. The people on the screen. That's you guys. I've lost. I've lost before.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've lost.
Only a couple.
Anyone else here ever lose? You lose. That's why. You lose. That's why you're mad. I'm mad when I lose, but that's not why I'm mad because some idiot says there's a lock out there. I mean, this Aaron D, he like adds an exclamation point to his name. I ban him. Yeah, it's an exclamation point. I ban him. Yeah, it's an exclamation point. Ban him. Rod, what do you like here? We gotta go on the express. Anything? These late games?
Yeah, I like USC. Give me USC as well. I think they're at home. Give me Purdue. I don't like Northwestern at all. Give me Purdue on the road. I think Purdue can beat Northwestern. And I think that's all the ones on that.
Chris?
And then, of course, you just take San Diego just for taking San Diego.
Chris?
Yeah, the only two I'm keying in on for 8 o'clock, I'm actually going to go off the board. I like Bradley plus 5.5 against Loyola Chicago.
I like that too. I think they. I don't know if they win outright or if they just cover, but 5.5, way too many. It's a pick 'em, right? That game.
That's going to be a dog fight. Yeah. I think it's going to come down to the last possession. And I'm also on USC as well. I just like the way the Trojans have been playing. Colorado's had a couple stumbles on the road, so I think this is, you say before this is USC. This could be USC's year. I think this is where they show it. So I'll take USC lay the one at home.
Are you guys afraid of me? Because this Derek Anderson, who's Mr. Big Shot here, he says that you guys are afraid of me. Are you guys afraid of me? He says the Puck Dogs are afraid of me. They're both twice the size of me, so I seriously doubt they're afraid of me. But
someone's on the Facebook group.
Because Derek Anderson says you are, so it must be so. It's
what
like, I mean,
what are we afraid
it must be so. It must be so. Oh man. Anyways, let's just do a recap. I'm not going to give any more picks. I'm kind of done. I gave out so many on the videos. Chris, you're up. I'm going to go through and ban all these people. Go ahead.
All right. I like Columbus minus 110 against Buffalo. Vancouver plus 125 against the Islanders. Florida minus 105 against Montreal. St. Louis in regulation minus 110 against Winnipeg. Toronto minus 1.5 against Ottawa. The Rangers minus 1.5 against Detroit. Dallas in regulation minus 110 against the Devils. I like the over 6 in Colorado, Philly. I like Chicago plus 130 against Arizona. Vegas plus 114 against Nashville. Boston minus 135 against Minnesota. Edmonton, Calgary, I like the Flames in regulation minus 110. I like LA minus 123 against the Ducks. And Tampa Bay in regulation minus 115 against the Sharks. NBA, I like Boston minus 2.5 against Philly. And I like over 206 in the Miami-Orlando game. College hoops, I like Seton Hall -8 against Xavier. Creighton +6.5 against Villanova. Indiana +7.5 against Ohio State. LSU -10.5 against Ole Miss. Texas A&M +6.5 against Georgia. Wisconsin +5 against Michigan State. Marquette -7 against DePaul. UNC Greensboro +2.5 against East Tennessee State. Kansas -8.5 against Texas Tech. UNLV +6.5 against Colorado State. Rutgers +1 against Michigan. Alabama -3.5 against Arkansas. Kentucky +3 against Auburn. Bradley +5.5 against Loyola. And USC -1 against Colorado. A 3-team moneyline college hoops parlay. Texas A&M, Kentucky, and Rutgers all in the money line at +14.59.
All right. A lot of information. Go ahead, Rod.
We'll start with the NHL. I like Columbus on the money line. I like Vancouver on the money line. Panthers on the money line. I'm going to take a shot. Give me Ottawa over the Leafs tonight. And I love the over 7. Lots of goals there. Give me Rangers on the puck line over Detroit. Give me Dallas on the puck line over New Jersey. I like the Blues to bounce back and beat the Jets on the puck line. Give me the Avs on the puck line with their Flyers and their bad goalie in net. Give me the Blackhawks on the money line. I like Vegas and Nashville over. I like Boston in regulation. Give me the Sharks to upset Tampa Bay. The Sharks been playing pretty good at home. Give me the Flames to keep dominating the Oilers in the Battle of Alberta. And give me the Ducks on the money line at home. NBA, top 3 I really love. Give me the Heat -2.5, the Wizard -1, and the Clippers -9.5. Parlay those up. It's my birdcage of the day. Also in the NBA, I like Portland, Boston, and Spurs. College basketball, I like Villanova minus the number, Mississippi minus the number, Providence plus the points, Rutgers plus the points, Florida State minus the number, Kansas minus the number, Wichita minus the number, Oregon minus the number, Hofstra plus the points, USC minus points, and Purdue minus the points.
Whew. Steve?
Ooh.
A lot of information. We're going to change the format of this. This is the last day we're doing this. I'll tell you that. This is going to be. These are the games that I'm betting, and that's it. It's like, man, there's no way you're betting all those games, Chris. There's no way. I mean, I rarely agree with the trolls, but it's like I gotta agree with them, man. It's like there's no way you're betting all those games.
All right, so I only got 47 games to go through.
Too much.
So I like Indiana against Ohio State plus 7.5. I like Seton Hall laying 8.5 against Xavier. Villanova 6.5 laying against Creighton. Take LSU against Ole Miss. I like Michigan State at Wisconsin. They're getting 5. I love Louisville laying 3 against NC State on the road. I'll take West Virginia. I think you're right. I think they crush Kansas State, 12.5. Butler laying 7.5 against Providence. Love Baylor, 11.5. TCU. Give me Rutgers and a point against Michigan. I like Florida State against Virginia Tech, laying 3. I'll take Kentucky into plus 3 points at Auburn. Really, I could go on and on. I do love USC, though, tonight. I think they're getting the 1 point at home against Colorado. And I'll ride San Diego State until they lose. NBA, Blazers plus 5.5 against the Jazz. The Spurs laying 9. Hornets, anybody against the Knicks. So the Pacers should really crush the Knicks. But I like Chris's pick, too, that the over on 206. The Heat laying 2.5 against Orlando. So those are my picks for now.
I gave out all my free picks and videos today. I gave out a couple on the show, but most of those were ones that I'd already given out on videos already. So you guys have all those. They're all available on YouTube. Of course, just a reminder to everybody, this show is supposed to be just, our opinion on the big games and, the games that people care about. I try and, mix in a couple other games just for the fun of it, or if someone has a strong play on one of those games that's, that we're not necessarily the Kansas-Texas Tech game or the West Virginia, Kansas State or, Kentucky-Auburn. If it's not one of those games, if someone has a strong play and something under the radar, then by all means I ask them to mention it. And that's really the premise of the show. But these games are generally just like our free picks at Pick Dogs. These are just our opinion. We do an opinion on all of these games. It doesn't mean we're betting all of these games. I say it all the time. The games I'm betting are the ones that I put in the premium area. I say it all the time. And I say other games, you'll hear me say, even if I didn't put it in the premium area, if I say it on here, I love it. And I don't think I do a good job of communicating this to everybody, exactly what we're doing. So if anyone has any suggestions for me on how we can do this better, by all means do it. But to come on here and to just criticize what we're doing without a solution, well, that really doesn't help us, and it's not part of what we're doing. And that's why I get frustrated, and that's why I ban people. Because if you just come here to take pot shots, well, it's really easy to take pot shots. It really is. It's super easy. And believe me, I could sit here and take pot shots at these three guys all day, and they could sit here and take pot shots at me, and so can all of you. But really, that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get opinion from people that know something and have a pretty good record at doing this stuff. And it's, so I don't really understand a lot of these comments. And if you have comments and picks of your own, well, those go in the Facebook group. As far as saying that anything is ever a stone cold lock and telling how much someone should bet on a game, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People ask me all the time, how much should I bet on this? Whatever, everyone has their own different amount, that they bet on games. And to tell you the truth, I have some games I bet one amount, and I have other games I bet less. And I've been through this with everybody, and I have a video out there talking about that as well. But I don't know. It's just, there has to be a better way. It's like, obviously, we have thousands and million, right? Over 1 million people that watch our YouTube channel every month. So we must be doing something right. But we have a few things that apparently really touch a nerve with, a handful of people out there that kind of ruin it for everybody else. So we're going to try and figure out how we can make this better. It's always a work in progress. And if you have suggestions, my email is mitch@pickdogs.com. But to sit here and act like a jerk in the comments, call us names, make accusations about us, and then when I ban you, claim that you're the victim here, 100% of the time it happens. Love the over in the claiming the victim today. Then so be it, man. I've had many people I've banned, including Rod, right? Who I've let back in, right? Including Rod. Back before Rod was a puck dog, believe me, he was banned. So anyways, man, I'm gonna bring the guys back in. I gotta run. Our show went way over today. It was just a lot of information. I think Rod is still belly laughing over there about that, buddy, because he knows she's laughing because it's true, And believe me, I'd ban myself some days. But anyways, have a great day, everyone. Tomorrow morning, you guys can shout out all the picks you want. We're not going to give them. We're only doing Super Bowl, the entire show, Super Bowl prop bets. And, of course, I'll be halftime of the Super Bowl. I might come on later on today to do another show as well. And if you haven't checked out our Spread Knowledge show, those picks, people say, oh, they don't say the record, right? Well, the Spread Knowledge, I say the record. And I add to it, and we're, what are we? 41, 24, and 1 on those Spread Knowledge picks I've been giving out on the show. That's what you call kicking some ass. Kick ass today, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you guys maybe later on. I'll do a special. There's so many games. Why not? Maybe halftime of one of those Kentucky game or something. Have a great day, everyone.